All right, so yesterday we were graphing quadratic functions. Today we're going to look a little bit more at that. And we're going to do, we did 1 and 2 yesterday, we're going to do 3 and 4 today. But real quick, just to kind of sum it up again. Okay, so y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, remember we're going to get u's. We decide if it's up or down by if a is basically positive or if a is negative. If it's positive, it goes up. If it's negative, it goes down. To find the vertex, we do negative b divided by 2a. Then that'll give us our x value. Then to get the y value, we plug that back into the equation up here that they would give you. And then solve for y. Y is equal to. Then the axis of symmetry is the x value that we found. And then the last thing you do is you find your y-intercept, and that is your c value in the equation. So let's take a look at that for number 3. All right, so once again, we're going to decide if it's up or down. So we look at a. A is 1, which is positive, so that means it's going to go up. We're going to figure out our vertex. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to write down that this 7 is c for my y-intercept. I'm going to get that out of the way. So let's start with the vertex. If you remember, we said it was negative b divided by 2a. So our b is the 6 divided by 2 times 1, which we know is 2. So x is equal to 3. So our x is 3, so that means our axis is 3. Very easy, guys. Nice, easy points. So now we got to figure out what our y is. So we're going to take that x that we got, plug it into this equation. So it is x squared, so 3 squared, plus 6 times 3, plus 7. And this is what's going to give us our y value. So y is equal to. So this is 9 plus 18 plus 7. Okay, so this was a negative b, so it's a negative 6. So this is a negative 3. So now I plug it in. This is a negative 3 squared. This is a negative 3 here. So this still is 9, but this is minus 18. So then we do 9 minus 18, which is a negative 9, plus 7, which equals to be a negative 2. So our vertex for this one is 3, negative 2. All right, so now let's start graphing it. So let's look. We're going to go to 3, negative 2. So we're going to go down. Remember what I said? They've got halves, so be very careful doing that. They have a marking between for the halves. So there's our vertex. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and draw that line so I know what we're going halves on. Remember, the axis of symmetry cuts it in half equally. Okay, so I'm going to start with the negative 3 on the x. 1 to the right is negative 2. 1 to the left is negative 4. They'll have the same height or y value. So I only got to do 1. Now to get the other one, I'm going to go 2 over to negative 1 to the right. And then from here, I'm going to go 2 to the left, which gives me negative 5. So that'll be those values. Once again, I'm just going to plug into the equation. So it's x squared. So this time, I'm going to go ahead and go with the 2 because it's a smaller number. So negative 2 squared plus 6 times the negative 2 plus 7. So then that is, let's see, negative 2 squared would be a positive 4 because negative 2 times a negative 2. This is a 6 times a negative 2, so it's a minus 12. And then we're going to add 7. So then 4 minus 12 is a negative 8. Add 7. So this one is a negative 1. So if 2 is negative 1, that means 4 is negative 1. Now I'm going to decide between 1 and 5. I'm going to go ahead and do negative 1. So it's negative 1 squared plus 6 times negative 1 plus 7. So that's a positive 1 minus 6 plus 7. So negative 1 minus 6 1 minus 6 is a negative 5 plus a 7. That gives me a positive 2. So in the negative 1, put a 2. And the negative 5 will also be a 2. So there's our table graph. Okay. Now let's plug them in. So I'm going to go negative 2, negative 1. Once again, watch out for those halves. Put a nice dot there. Then go to negative 4 and 1. Same height. Go to negative 1, and we're going to go up 2. Once again, watch those halves. Then we're going to go negative 5, positive 2. Again, make sure when you graph it, you draw a U and arrows on the end, showing that they continue that way. Okay, let's take a look at one more. Okay, so once again, look at A for the up down. It's a positive, so it's going to go up. You guys will see some negative, just didn't happen on here. Okay, once again, C is our y-intercept, so we'll go ahead and write that down for 19. You won't see it on here, but at some point it'll cross there. All right, so now it's a negative B, so it's a negative 8 over 2. 2 times 1. So this actually is a positive 8, because a negative and a negative makes a positive, divided by 2. So that this time the vertex is a 4, so our y-axis, our axis of symmetry is a 4, because that's our x value. So now what we need to do is we're going to plug it into this original formula. So it's going to be x squared, so our x is 4, so 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 19. Seems big numbers, but I think we're going to be okay. So let's see, that's 16 minus 32, because 8 times 4, negative, plus 19. So 16 minus 32 is a negative 16 plus 9. So that worked out to be a positive 3. So the y value is a 3. So our vertex is 4, 3. So once again, we're going to start there. So graph 4, 3. Here's the 4. There's a 3. Once again, watch out. They've got halves marked. So your solid numbers, the more darker one, the bolder, is your number. So there's the 3, 4. I'm going to take a blue pen. I'm going to mark it. Okay, that means that's going to go that way. So once again, I'm going to go from here. 4 is our axis. So I'm going to go 1 to the right for 5. 1 to the left for 3. They're going to be the same height or y value. So then from there, I'm going to go 2 to the right, which is a 6. 2 to the left, which is a 2. Okay, once again, they're going to be the same. So I'm going to choose between 5 and 3. I'm going to go 3 because it's a little smaller. Plug it into our equation. So x, so this time it's 3 squared minus 8 times 3 plus 19. So that's 9. That is a negative 24 plus 19. Start from left to right. 9 minus 24 is negative 15 plus 19 gives me a 4. So for 3 it's a 4, so that means for 5 it's a 4. One more. We're going to do between 6 and 2. Oh, Jesus, 2. So I'm going to do 2 squared minus 8 times 2 plus 19. So I use that equation. I can't see it anymore in the video, but I use that equation down here. So we're going to go 2 times 2 squared, or 2 times 2 is 4. Sorry if you're having a hard time seeing what the stuff behind it. And 8 times 2 is a negative 16 plus a 19. So 4 minus 16 is a negative 12. And a negative 12 plus 19 equals a positive 7. So for the 2 value, it's a 7. So that means the 6 value is also a 7. So there's our table filled out. Your next step is then to graph them. So now go 5 and 4. There's 5 and 4. Once again, watch those half marks. 3 and 4. Then go to 6 and go up to 7. Then I'm going to 2 and 7. Once again, make your U and put the arrows on the end to show that they're continuing that way.